What?
And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner!
Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. Literally, I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team.
He does things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly recap from We Are Soccer. Shh. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? It's a title race. We finally have a title race in the EPL. Well, at least for two teams, because then there were two. Manchester City and Arsenal are off to the races. We're going to talk about that while Liverpool have dropped off dramatically over the last couple of weeks. They now find themselves in third, way down the pecking order there. We'll talk about what happened. We'll talk about there will be fire, if I talk, from Mo Salah. Yes, Mo Salah and Jurgen Klopp got into it on this sideline. We will talk about it there. But we'll also talk about the North London derby that happened today. Whoo-wee! What a banger of a match that was. The second half, at least. The first half, ooh, yeah, interesting. We'll talk about that for sure. I would love to know people's thoughts on that. Because to be honest, that was a really interesting first half, and I thought Tottenham deserved to be ahead, but it was Arsenal up 3-0. More to get to on that. Also, Liverpool, Arne Slot is your new manager. How are you feeling about the new manager and moving ahead after Jurgen Klopp leaves at the end of the month? Messi makes MLS history. The little Argentine is a magician, the GOAT. I don't know what else we can say about him, but we're going to talk about the history he just made in the MLS. PSG are League One champions. Can you believe it? Oh, my word. I'm so surprised. Said no one ever. Are you kidding me? Who cares? We got a lot to talk about. Absolutely a ton to talk about. Villa, shit the bed. United, well, United did what they've been doing over the course of the last couple of months. We're going to poke a little fun there, have some fun with Danny. Oh, my word, there's a lot to get to. Before we jump in and introduce the boys who are here today, I do want to say a big thank you to our partners and our sponsors. Big thank you to Soccer World, soccerworld.net for all your soccer gear needs. Big thank you to Aaron Bird and the Next Level Training guys, the best trainers in the country. Luckily for us, they reside here in Metro Detroit. Next Level Training. Big thank you to the Michigan Jags. The Michigan Jags are an organization for youth players of any age and any experience level. MichiganJagsFC.com for more information. Big thank you to Thomas McGee's. Get down to Thomas McGee's and watch the end of the season matches in the EPL or the Bundesliga or La Liga. They've got them all on the TVs. Great food specials, great drink specials. Trust me, get to Thomas McGee's in downtown Detroit. Big thank you to the football doc, Dr. Zach Atwood. Hey, Doc, I'm going to be giving you a call this week. Looks like I've done my hamstring again. Yep, I'm an old man still trying to play soccer. Ugh. Dr. Zach, expect my phone call. And if you guys need physical therapy or help from the football doc, Dr. Zachary Atwood is who you need to call. All right. Not just me here in the studio. We've got some of the boys here. Unfortunately, Nate is not here, but Danny, you're here. Danny, how are you, my friends?
TP's back.
Yes.
Sorry, Nate. Nate's not here, but we've got the German
Dunce hat?
dunce hat, whatever the fuck. We got that. But yeah, interesting times. Great week for me, actually. Lots of high school games, good training. Games this weekend was fun. I've had a bit of an interesting weekend, actually, because I spent most of it explaining to Jana what, English phrases she was watching on TV. I guess she's watching this new TV show, this UK TV show, and she was asking me questions today. She texts me, she goes, "What's a kip?" I'm like, kip?
I don't know.
It's a nap.
Nap.
It's a nap. What's a kip? A nap.
A nap?
Right.
Oh, like a...
And then she goes,
Yeah. Okay.
What's £3 bob? It's £3. £3. I think she said I think she got so pissed off with it. She was just like, "I'm done watching UK shows by myself. I need a translator."
Yeah, a lot of people definitely need. I need to know what show this is. This sounds interesting. I would love to know what show it is.
I don't, babe. If you're listening right now, can you just text me what show it is because Craig wants to know. But yeah, she turned me on to so over Christmas we were watching Call the Midwife.
Yeah, my wife watches that.
Have you ever seen that?
My
Absolutely mental, right? And I'm going, yeah, it's not too bad. You're like, I'll delve into a little bit of English, history and all that sort of stuff of, things back in the 70s and stuff. But when you start learning more about OBGYN and midwives, delivering babies in every episode, it gets a bit much.
Yep. Well,
my mom likes the British investigative detective shows.
Baby reindeer, she said.
Baby reindeer. All right.
Baby reindeer.
Netflix-ish. Is that what we're going with? I will check.
They have a lot of that on Amazon.
Is it? Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's one of the streaming apps that we share.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like you had a pretty good week, a good weekend, and now it's time to talk a little football, my friend.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Brooks, how are you? Before we jump in, get stuck in here like a 32-feet tackle. How are you, my friend? How was your weekend?
Good. I watched Bardar Jags play on Saturday, so I was all day at Wixom for that, and it's been good.
Cool. All right. I'll tell you about my weekend. All of my kids played soccer. All of my kids won, and I entered a Japanese tournament.
I scored on Friday night.
Did you?
For our 6v6 league.
I don't remember you scoring. Did we win? I don't even remember.
We did win.
Did we win?
Yes.
All right. All I remember is we went out for beers afterwards.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Was that your highlight?
Yes.
Okay.
The 5 or 6 beers I had kind of washed away the memories of the game, but I think I remember. We won. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that you just told me that. All right, let's jump in. Let's get to the football. Let's get to the important stuff here. Listen, it was we're gonna start out with the North London Derby because I thought this game was so fascinating. In the first half, this game was played at the London Stadium at Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal go in there. In the North London Derby, if you don't know, it's Arsenal versus Tottenham, and it is a huge rivalry. Both teams, both sets of fans hate each other. This is the one they look forward to. As we know, in the last couple of years, Arsenal have been on the up. Tottenham not so much. This was a chance I thought Tottenham really could have taken and put a real dent in Arsenal's hopes for the future with taking points away from them today at home. And I thought Tottenham came out on fire. They played really well, narrowly missing a couple of easy opportunities. But Arsenal took advantage and just, Danny, for me, I thought the better team in the first half were actually Tottenham, but they found themselves down 3-0 at the half.
It was interesting with the 2 goals disallowed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For Tottenham, But yeah, I mean, but that's. I'm going to say it again. It's Spurs.
Yeah, it's
a very Spursy thing to do, right? It's just a very Spursy thing to do. By the way, I don't think he can get away. I don't think he can get away with playing that way next season. I think he's changed the style. He's changed the style from where it was earlier on in the year. I don't know whether that's through injuries or whatnot, but I don't think he can get away with that next year.
You think people have figured it out?
Yeah,
the counterattack absolutely works on him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think he can get away with that next year. But they certainly played well in the first half. But Arsenal they just took advantage, didn't they? And the 2 goals that Tottenham scored in the second half were really convincing penalty by Son was fantastic. But yeah, I mean, just Arsenal for me right now, I still think they win the title. By the way, I'm sticking.
You're still putting money on Arsenal to win.
I'm sticking with my pick at the start of the season. I'm sticking with it, and I'll tell you why a little bit later on as we get into the City game and stuff like that. But I think. Yeah, I'm sticking with Arsenal. I think they've got the balls to do it this year.
Ooh, all right. I do want to say they may have the balls, as you say, to do it, but man, oh man, David Ray at the back. That was a poor mistake. What is a goalie doing trying to float a ball over an oncoming defender? You know what? You know what's needed at that point, Danny? Do you know what's needed as you see 2 defenders bearing down and the options limited? Hoof the ball up the field, or if that's not possible, put it into row Z. Put the ball out of bounds. You're up 3-0. There's no way you should be giving the opposing team an opportunity like that.
Yeah, well,
Terrible.
You know, and Arne did the same thing, didn't he? In midweek against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
You know, for the opening goal. You know, he gave the same thing away. So, you know, I don't. Me, to be honest with you, like obviously coaching teams and watching teams worldwide and all that sort of stuff. You know, I just sometimes I don't get this philosophy of building out of the back when you or trying to force building out of the back when you've got teams that are quite capable of pressing and understand what triggers to go and press. And you know, teams have been found out quite a bit this season because of it. You know, so you know, hopefully David Ray can get it right because you know they've got a pretty good backup. You know, in at Arsenal, so you know he's a good keeper, but mistakes happen.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I think he's an okay keeper. By the way, that loan is a loan for the year with not even an option. I think it's you will buy him, and they did that to skirt PSR. I believe Arsenal did. So they've loaned him from Brentford, and they've already got a negotiated price of £40 million. So as soon as the season ends, they've got to hand over £40 million.
You got Ramsdale waiting in the wings, you know, and Ramsdale for me is a great keeper. I'd love to see him at United.
I don't understand the purchase of spending £40 million on David Raya when you had Aaron Ramsdale, because I prefer Aaron Ramsdale, but you will tell in their feet, even besides the mistake that Raya made today, his feet are a lot better than Ramsdale's. Yeah. I'm interested to know, where do you think who's for you is the strongest player for Arsenal this year? Who's been the man where he leaves the pitch or doesn't play a game, or doesn't through illness or injury, that the form drops and the team goes to pieces? Is it a Salah? Is it an Odegaard? Is it a Saka?
I think it's pretty easy for me, really, to be honest with you.
Is it Declan Rice? Who?
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice is the man.
Yeah.
You think that's the one that makes him tick?
I think he's been quintessential to the way Arsenal have played this year, and if they're, you know, I think they were really unlucky against Bayern Munich. You know, home and away, really, to be honest with you. They kept it really tight, and he's you know, you can see in certain games that he's pushed him along. I thought he was terrific in midweek against Chelsea. You know, absolutely terrific he was. You know, and Saka, for me, as good as he is, he's not. I don't think he's like a lot of people turn around and say, well, you know, Saka's like first name on the England sheet in that position, and I'm like, he's not as good as Foden, though, is he? I mean,
Yeah, I agreed.
Like,
Absolutely
and if you've
agreed.
got a midfield three of, you know, Rice, Palmer, and Bellingham, then you've got to fit Foden in somewhere.
Yeah.
And he plays off one of the flanks.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I mean, like, just based off the way that they're playing right now, I mean, I'd have Foden off the right and Grealish off the left and Kane down the middle.
I mean, you're wearing it. You're wearing the Three Lions, the England warm-up there that they're going to be going to the Euros in. That has to be. I mean, it's such a great problem for Gareth Southgate to have, but I 100% agree with you. Listen, the difference between Foden and Saka for me is Foden's got 2 feet. Saka's got 1.
Right.
He can't do anything with that right foot except for stand on it and run with it. Right. And he proved that. He's proved that all season. With that all being said, I'm sure every Arsenal fan is going to be yelling and screaming at me. He scored a nice goal today, but he cut it back to the left foot, didn't he?
Yeah. No, I definitely think Declan Rice is that man.
You think he's the guy?
And I think he's a future. I think he's a future Arsenal captain as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
know.
for sure.
And arguably, you could turn around and say he's a future England captain. You know, because he's definitely got that. He's definitely got that aura about him. You know, when I watch him play, you know, and they're different in ways, but not in others. And he reminds me so much of Michael Carrick.
That's a great comparison.
You know,
Yeah.
he reminds me so much of Michael Carrick that I think that, you know, he's got more about him going forward.
Yeah, I think there's 2 differences between the two. One, more going forward, but he's quicker. I think he's quicker than Carrick, and that allows him to get into spaces just quicker and read the game a little bit better. But Michael Carrick, for me, wholly underrated.
If Carrick wasn't a professional footballer in the era of Gerrard, Scholes, and Lampard,
yes,
Carrick would have been probably one of the best central midfielders of the Premier League. You know, come through in that era.
Spot on.
You know,
Yeah,
if he was playing in today's game with Carrick and Rice and Bellingham in the middle of midfield for England, what a midfield!
Yeah, Michael Carrick. Did you ever hear the story about when he was at West Ham?
No.
So he had back problems He had consistent back problems for a solid
Is that
season.
for carrying West Ham?
Well, no. There's no actual joke with this one. He had some solid back problems, and they could not figure out why. It took them forever, and they finally figured out towards the end of the season. Do you know what type of car he was driving?
What?
A Dodge Viper. It's like lying down driving, and he was so tall that the seat wasn't made properly for him. He was scrunched into this car like laying down with his head up and hunched over. They figured out that because he was driving to and from practice and in and around town in a Dodge Viper, that it was hurting his back, his lower back. As soon as he gave the car away, he was back on the field with no injuries.
Oh my God.
Brilliant player though, 100% agree. I'm gonna say for me, Arsenal's player of the year, and I'm really torn between Salah and Odegaard. I think Salah in the back has saved them a bunch, but I love Martin Odegaard. I think he just controls the pace of the game and just his little, why aren't you passing to the left? And then he knocks a ball 30 yards ahead. You go, oh, that's why. You're like, oh, he saw that. No one else saw that. I think it's incredible to see a player who was spotted in his teens and sold to Real Madrid at 16 and considered a flop by 18 to reinvent himself at a huge club like Arsenal. I think he is a silky smooth player, and the addition of Rice has really helped him become a better player. But, I mean, listen, Salah, Rice, or Odegaard, any one of those could win Arsenal Player of the Year. So who knows? But that North London derby did end 3-2. Arsenal take all 3 points. Thank goodness. Yes, I was rooting for Arsenal because I needed Tottenham to not pick up points because they're currently in 5th spot right behind my Aston Villa with 2 games in hand. Brooks?
A few comments here. We got Mr. Kirk Johnson. He said it before and he say it again. Saka needs a right foot. And then Michael Tyson, Saka may not be their best player, but he is the most electric on the pitch.
Saka is?
Yes.
See, I would disagree with that. Michael. And I'm not doing it to be argumentative. I would just say that I think Odegaard is probably more electric and makes Arsenal tick more.
He's their most creative player, Odegaard.
Yeah, he's more creative, more electric, he's got more flamboyance to him. Flamboyance, there's a word I haven't spoken about. He's got more flamboyance to him. I love the way.
What's the English word for flamboyance?
Sexy.
That's just a normal English term. You cheated me. That's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah,
No.
but he's not wrong, right? Saka brings a little bit of pace, a little bit of I'm going to go at someone. But my problem is, you know what's going to happen. He's either going to go to his right and then try to bring it back to his left, or he's going to go to his right, try to bring it back to his left, and go, oh, that's been cut off. All right, pass the ball backwards, go back up the round and restart. I think he's just so one-footed.
I mean, it's not a prerequisite, is it? I mean, it's not like a prerequisite for not being a world-class player. I mean, you look at Ryan Giggs, he was one-footed, left-footed, no head, no right foot, and was one of the most electric wingers in, world football during his heyday.
I think it's very tough to get by, though, to be one-footed and be dynamic. It's just really tough.
I'm gonna say this to you, and you're not gonna like it. Messi. This is the best example.
He's just different, though. I mean, it's Odegaard's not even close, and Giggs weren't to Messi. What Messi was, I'm just saying. But even sometimes Messi would score with his right foot every once in a while.
I think isn't there he scored 800 goals, right, or something like that?
5 of them with his right foot.
I think they've said I literally think it's 19 with his right foot and 12 with his head.
Yeah,
Out of the 800.
the rest of him with his left.
The rest of his left, and whatever. Either way, he can still go to his right.
Yeah,
and then he all of a sudden figures out a way to get it back to his left.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Anyway, North London derby. It lived up to the hype. We swapped a couple of tweets today with Eric Winalda. Yes, that Eric Winalda about the game. He said after the first half, I'm going back to bed. He didn't go back to bed. Spoiler alert. He stayed up. What a match that was.
Don't forget he's in Vegas, so it's a lot earlier.
A lot earlier for him. I get it.
Yeah.
But I thought the second half there was fireworks galore. Our Facebook group lit up on this game. If you are not part of our Facebook group, the We Are Soccer Facebook group, join. Get on it because we had some good discussions about that and a couple of other things today and this weekend. So make sure you're on our Facebook group. Yes, the North London derby, fire. And as you heard Danny say, the second The second goal was a penalty by Son, and what a really, really well taken penalty that was. Very impressive from Son. That's, from what I understand, their second penalty of the year.
Yeah.
They do not have very many penalties for them.
Wow.
VAR.
VAR.
VAR at its best and its worst.
And it took VAR to intervene for that to be called a penalty.
Right.
When you're looking at it from where the referee was, you should have been able to go, yeah, that's a penalty.
Stonewall penalty.
How referee, but the referee probably goes, that's probably a penalty. I'm just going to let VAR see where this continues and then let VAR tag me. Brooks, it looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, just a couple comments. Again, we have from some people. Just in regards to Kirk Johnson says, Jesus, Martinelli, and Zinchenko need to go. Do you agree with that?
Agreed. Yes, Zinchenko needs to be the first one to go. I think he's a weak link every time he is on the field. Jesus, I think he's a good backup. You need a better and I think they need to bring in a striker. I think priority one for Arsenal this summer, the same priority, by the way, for Chelsea, is a striker. Go and buy a striker. Put all of your eggs into the striker basket because that is what they're really missing, in my opinion. Who was the other? Martinelli?
Martinelli.
No, I don't think you get rid of Martinelli. I like him. I think he's all right.
He's dynamic going
I
forward.
agree with Jesus and Zinchenko. I don't agree with Martinelli. I think Martinelli's been great for them on that left-hand side. And Trossard has been a good backup when he's come in. Martinelli has got that little bit of a spice to him, just like Saka has. He's got more pace than Saka does.
Yeah, he's
Saka's
a better
just
athlete.
Saka's just more trickery on the ball, but, you know.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. All right, let's jump in. This, with 3 points today for Arsenal, let's put up the table real quick so you can take a look. Here is your title race. I do have Aston Villa highlighted. We'll come up. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But as you can see, 35 games, 80 points. Arsenal leading the way on plus 57 goal difference. I mean, plus 57 goal difference. That's incredible, by the way. Absolutely incredible. They've only let up 28 goals this season. Manchester City, hot on their heels. I need to find the stat about City that someone posted in our Facebook group. I will find it. I think they are 19 games unbeaten or something like that right now in Premiership.
Wow.
Incredible.
So that's probably since like the beginning of the year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are, as they
Since
normally
Villa beat
do.
them?
It might be since Villa beat them in mid-December.
Yeah.
As they normally do, Manchester City put their foot down when the time counts. Manchester City, a game in hand, a point behind. So, listen, they win that one game, which we all expect them to do. They'll be ahead by 2. So there you go. There it is. There's Liverpool in third, 75 points after 35 games. I think with the way Arsenal and Manchester City are playing, we can pretty much say Arsenal and Man City, Arsenal, Man City, you're number 1, number 2. Liverpool, adios. You're done. The title race is now past you. You needed all 3 points this weekend, and you did not pick them up.
Spurs beat City for me on May 14th.
You think Spurs?
Yeah. I think Spurs will take points off City on May 14th and make it a proper tie. I think Arsenal win out.
Where's that game at?
It's at, I believe it's Brooks, and you're probably the best one to stat that one.
Where
for
is
us.
Liverpool? I'm sorry, God, I keep getting the names wrong today. Where's the Man
It's
City?
at the Tottenham's.
It's at Tottenham's.
It's at Spurs.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
Tottenham beat City that day. I really do.
Oh, what a game that's going to be! That's coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks time, pretty much.
May 14th.
May 14th. Yeah.
What's the date? What's
So
the
that's
day? Damn,
Tuesday.
man. Tuesday.
Because the 12th is a Sunday.
Oh, a Tuesday, huh? All right. Hey, everybody.
Sorry, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Set those calendars. Get that time off of work because you're going to want to watch that one. Danny, we may have to throw some beers on that game, my friend. I absolutely need, and no offense to the title race, but as an Aston Villa fan, I need Man City to take all 3 points there. But you're calling it differently, huh? You think Spurs will come out? I mean, they're 2 teams who want to play in the same
look,
way.
it's like Spurs' next 3 out of the next 4 games, right?
Yep.
And this is where you're going to be happy.
Yep.
So they play Chelsea midweek,
Yes, sir.
right? And then they play Liverpool.
Oh, okay, yes.
And then I think they go somewhere else. But the 4th game,
Is this
It's-
Spurs?
yeah.
Oh, let me look at it.
City.
So, City?
The 4th game, the next 4 games is Chelsea midweek, Liverpool, then somebody else, then City.
Yep.
So they play. It's like they've got some really tough games.
Yeah,
there, right?
they've got one of the hardest schedules for the remainder of the
So
season.
here's the kicker for me, right?
Yep.
Is that beneficial for me, really, to be honest with you. So I think City get beat by Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in midweek. They'll get beat by Liverpool.
I'm sorry. Say that again. You think that City? Wait.
No. I think Spurs will get beat at Stamford Bridge in midweek. So Chelsea will beat Spurs.
Yep, I think so too.
That can't happen.
I think Liverpool will beat Spurs because it's at Anfield.
Yep.
And I think Spurs will do City.
Wow, that's some
ironic irony that
Yeah.
Spurs will do City and hand the title to Arsenal.
How funny would that be? I mean, the at that point, at that point, Spurs fans will just be, ooh.
I like everything
just
but
turn
the
it
Chelsea
off.
result there.
They've got Champions League football to contend with, right? Because I mean,
That's the
United
goal.
are only 6 points behind Tottenham, right? And with three defeats out of the next 4,
Yeah.
and we win the couple of games that we've got, it puts us right back into 5th.
I think because of where Villa are at right now, officially Man United are out of
I'm not saying Champions League, I'm saying
Champions League,
Europa League.
but Europa for sure. Yes. Yeah. You need 5th or 6th for Europa.
Or the FA Cup.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought Germany clinched all that stuff, and EPL can't get that extra team.
It's not done yet.
It's not?
It's not officially done yet, but it's pretty much done.
Okay.
Not official, but yeah, the 5th Champions League spot is essentially going to go to the Champions League.
The way that Arsenal are playing right now, I don't see them dropping points till the end of the season with the games that they've got left. I just don't. I think they'll beat United at Old Trafford actually when they come to Old Trafford second to last game of the season.
I think they'll win at Old Trafford as well.
I do. I think they'll beat United at Old Trafford. I really do. And City at Forest today, I didn't think they were convincing at all.
I was about to say that's the next game we're jumping into here. City went to Forest, and Forest. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I've been saying this all year. Nottingham Forest is a tough team to go play against.
I think
They will set up shop, and if it wasn't for Chris Wood's terrible left foot and terrible right foot, if that ball was in the air on his head, probably in the back of the net, that game could have easily been a Forest win or a draw. Terrible misses.
Yeah, I don't think City played well today, and Nottingham Forest played great. They really did.
They did.
Yeah.
They looked really good today. Why haven't they been able to put that together in a lot of other matches this year? By the way, they did put it together earlier in the season in November and beat Villa 2-0, and everybody kind of laughed at me and said, you watch this game, Nottingham Forest played really well.
Right.
And City today went there, and I thought City weren't at their best. You are right. But City did what they normally do. They find a way to win these games.
I just think they've got a performance in them that just they don't even need to get beat.
Yeah.
They do not even need to get beat at Spurs. Spurs with a draw,
Oh, that could do it.
and that could do it right there. They don't even need to get beat, and they've got one in them. They have. And I don't care what people say, like, Man City are on auto drive and all that sort of stuff, and, this, that, and the other. I think that the Champions League knockout at home against Real Madrid, I think it's knocked them. I think it's knocked them a little bit because the last 2 performances since then, they haven't been worldies. They haven't been great. I mean, Brighton midweek was a bit of a, not to stick the knife in Brooks, but I mean, not probably the easiest game to play on a rebound from the Real Madrid game, really, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's a team going in the opposite direction. That's kind of the team you wanted at that point, right, to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a team that's not in form, away from home. You can go and kind of relax. You're not in front of your home fans. There's no pressure. Go and play away a game.
Yep.
So they got the 3 points. That was a difficult game for them today, a really difficult game for them today, and they didn't perform away at Nottingham Forest, and they're at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
So they've got a performance in them, and I just think Spurs will do it because Spurs will be like to come out of that Chelsea game midweek, and when we get to Chelsea, we'll talk about them as well. But that's going to be a tough one because Chelsea are playing well.
Yeah, and Chelsea actually proved that yesterday.
Yeah.
So Chelsea went into Villa Park, by the way, and had 73% of the possession for the majority of the game. They held the ball. Now, Villa like to give up possession, don't get me wrong, but not that much possession.
Pochettino's got a really young team at Chelsea, really young team, and he's getting them to play a really good brand of football. And you've actually seen progression through progression this season. I know they've had knockback after knockback and after setback after setback, but Chelsea have continually improved in their performances throughout the course of the season. They were
Yep.
very unlucky in the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea against Man City because they were the better team.
100%. Although
They
Man
were
City were coming off that loss to Real Madrid in
Yeah.
the Champions League, so that was 3 days prior. Continue though. Sorry, absolutely.
They were the better team, and I think Chelsea will beat Spurs. I think Liverpool will not want to get beat by Spurs because they won't want to let Villa into third, right? So I think Liverpool will beat Chelsea. I just think that City game has got a lot more riding on it towards the end of the season for Tottenham to stay in that fourth spot, and it's at home.
Yeah.
And those games have been bangers before.
I'm telling you, the
You know.
games that we have coming up in the next couple of weeks here, folks, put them into your calendars now and make sure you're on our Facebook groups to put in your comments because, I mean, just the midweek game that we have, Chelsea and Spurs, right? That one, right? Is that Wednesday that game's been played, boys? That game right there, fire. Again, Chelsea, in my opinion, I was really worried about that game yesterday. Chelsea coming into Villa Park, by the way. And then we went 2-0 up, and I said, we're running here. This is brilliant. We're sitting back. We're absorbing their pressure. We've gone and scored a goal. I think we'll get that third goal. We should have, actually. But then all of a sudden, Chelsea start to do what they do.
And you were
They
really
are
lucky.
quick.
You were really lucky
Very
not
lucky.
to get beat.
Very lucky. We had our opportunity down the other end. Ollie Watkins, from about the 12-yard line, skies one over the bar, which is unlike him. But we will talk about that. Yes, there was a foul. It went 2-2, by the way. Chelsea came back. It was 2-2. Emi Martinez off at the half, injury or illness. We're not really sure yet. Not a lot of details being released by the club. Robin Olsen comes in. He does fine. I think Emi Martinez stops and controls a little bit more of that game, and I think we win if he stays in the game. But anyway, 2-2 it finishes. There was a foul at the end of the game on our center back, Carlos. Danny, what are your thoughts on that? Because I've had a couple of arguments with some people, and it seems everybody's all over the place on this. You've seen the shove in the back, I assume. Where
I didn't think at the time when I saw it live that it was worthy of VAR overturning the goal. I thought Chelsea had won it.
Okay.
And it's this argument that I keep having with people, and I think you and I and Brooks have had this argument that when VAR slows things down, they look worse. You've seen the studs up challenges or the challenges that have gone over the top.
Nate
of
says
the
that a
ball.
lot too.
Sure.
When you slow something down, it looks worse than it actually is because it looks calculated.
Yeah.
Right? It looks calculated. To me, I didn't think it was enough to warrant, like, come on, like, stand on your feet, mate. Stand up to him.
It looks to me like the Diego Carlos, the Villa defenders, waiting for the ball, and you see Diazy behind. No, it was Madueke, I believe it was, and he looks at the back of the Villa defender, and he barges him and moves him about 1.5 feet. So the ball, instead of landing on the Diego Carlos's head, lands behind him. So it does look calculated because you see them both looking at the ball. Then you see Madueke look at Diego Carlos and go bang right into the back. So, but I agree. When it happened real time, Danny, I'm on point with you there. When it happened real time, I went, oh man, he was just shoulder bars off the ball. It's fine. Two grown men going for it. It's contact sport. But then yes, when you slow it down, you go, wait a minute.
Was he playing the ball, not the man, though?
He played the man,
Yeah.
and then the ball fell to him.
Yeah.
So it's a foul, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Would I feel the same way if it was turned around?
Go ahead, Craig. Tell us how you feel.
I'm trying to, take off my claret and blue tinted glasses. I probably would, to be honest. I probably would because I've been in that position as a forward where you're like, the defender's in front of me. I'm not getting to this ball.
Correct.
That's a big, strong man. The only way for me to get to this ball is to shove him. And if it gets called a foul, it's a foul.
Or
but
to hold
if
your
not,
ground.
if it doesn't get called a foul, then then we've got a goal. But now I guess some of the folks on Sky Sports, Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and alike, said that they didn't think it was a foul, and they want VAR to be done away with on things like that. But
That's easy to say.
But in my opinion, that's just your Sky Sports pundits rooting for the Sky Big Six.
Sure.
Who the majority of the folks like.
Well, that's because they're traditional and they don't like VAR. They probably never liked it from the beginning.
They probably don't.
So,
Well, but anyway, so let's put up that table
Listen,
again.
There's one thing that you can.
Go ahead, Danny.
There's one thing that you can be absolutely guaranteed about when it's definitely coming from Sky Sports and Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville and Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, and Gary Lineker on Match of the Day is that it's biased at times. And I just remember the Ronaldo Piers Morgan interview, and Carragher came out a couple of days later and was like, "You can't speak that way about a manager. You can't talk to a manager that way. He's got to go. He's got to be fired." And then the Salah situation this weekend, when he's had a Barney with the referee, with the Klopp on the side of the field, and then he's walked past the reporter and said, "If I speak, there'll be fire." He's like, "Well, we don't know the." Carragher's like, "We don't know the context of the conversation."
Yeah.
Like, piss off, mate.
Yeah. They're all biased. They're all biased. We get it, you know. But the majority of those guys, the pundits, Sky, want that fire from the Big Six.
We all know what they were
want
talking
that.
about, Salah, and we all know about what they were talking about. The cookies.
They're talking about cookies.
Yeah.
Girl Scout cookies or what?
No. Did you read my Facebook comment when you put it for the photo,
After
Craig?
I read like four words, I go, I don't know where this is going. So I didn't. But I think I liked it because
You did. You laughed at it. It was an argument that you should bake the cookies for 12 minutes instead of 15 to get the perfectly chocolate chip cookie. That's what they're arguing about.
I think he was telling him his haircut was shit.
Mm.
But hey, that's just me. But anyway,
Fair.
all right, let's put up that table real quick. Here we go. One last time. So, all right, I have Villa highlighted here for a reason because that is the cutoff for Champions League. 1 through 4 goes to Champions League. 5 through 6 is into Europa. 7th is Europa Conference League. So, as we talked about, there's Villa on 67 points now, 7 points ahead.
Who did Villa play next? Brooks.
I can look at that. Yeah.
Um,
I'll let you know.
Keep going, Craig.
Olympiacos.
I got it. Yep, they got Olympiacos in the Europa League, and then they play Brighton away.
Brighton.
Oh, sorry. They play, Brighton away, and then they go back and they have Olympiacos again for the second leg.
So that actually scares me a little bit, right? Because now you've got a Brighton team who they lost today or this weekend, but sandwiched between two semifinal for the Europa Conference League, Olympiacos in Greece. So now we're traveling to Greece.
Yes.
The second
Greece is
one.
not easy to play in.
No.
Especially they bring the
so
fans,
I
and
am
it's
a little
very-
worried about that. Tottenham do have 2 games in hand. That
think
equals 6 points, but now they're still back, and their goal difference is worse as well.
I think they. If they beat Brighton,
It's done. It's done and dusted.
yeah. If they beat Brighton and Tottenham get beat by Chelsea and Liverpool in the next 2 games, it's done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Tottenham almost have to win out at this point because Villa don't have the toughest of schedules. Their second to last game is Liverpool, who, as we see, are pretty much out of the title race, so they might not have anything to play for.
As long as Tottenham
although-
beat Chelsea.
Although that might be. No, I think Liverpool come to Villa Park actually. So I was gonna say it might be his last home game, but it's not.
Yes,
come to Villa
Liverpool do
Park.
go to Villa Park.
And then Villa they go finish away at Crystal Palace. Is it?
Yes.
So I'm hoping for 3 points there because Crystal Palace will have nothing to play for.
And then you go play the Columbus Crew on the 26th in
Oh,
friendly.
yeah, and a friendly in Columbus Crew, which I'll be at. But there you go. There's Tottenham in 5th. Manchester United in 6th on 54 points, 6 points behind Tottenham. But hot on their heels is Newcastle United with 53 points. West Ham picking up at a point this weekend on 49. They're in 8th. 9th spot, 33 games in, picking up a point this weekend, 48 points for Chelsea. Now, if anybody doesn't know, we have a bet here internally. Brooks thinks that Chelsea are going to finish 11th or lower. The rest of us, meaning Danny, Nate, and myself, think that Chelsea are going to finish 10th or higher. We don't remember what we bet, though. We're going to have to think of something. Maybe Brooks.
I think Brooks had to get a plane ticket to Europe or get a plane ticket to London, right, and walk through Trafalgar Square with his arse bare white.
Oh, wow.
I think that was his bet. I think that was the bet if Chelsea finished 10th and higher.
It was either that or he buys us dinner. One of the two, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was beers.
Beers?
I don't know.
Hey, listen, if you're treating us to beers, I'm in.
I know you
know
are.
how I roll. That works for me. We can go to
We can go to-
Thomas McGee's and
Yeah.
you can buy us beers and maybe some apps.
I mean, you're like your other bar down the street. You like the fries down there and the beer.
yeah,
I think
it's
Brooks
all right.
can never wear a lacrosse shirt again if he loses that bet.
Nailed it.
The bet.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it.
If I win, you all 3 of you have to wear one for one show.
Oof. As long as it's not like a Man United or a
It's not.
Birmingham City jersey. Or
It's
something
not.
like that. Yeah.
It's not.
All right, we do have a couple of other games to get to. I do want to talk to Danny about that Man United game. I really want to talk to Danny.
By the way, how about Newcastle here? Well, you mentioned beating West Ham, and they drew with Everton, beating Fulham, beating Tottenham, Crystal Palace, and then now Sheffield. I mean, they're on a nice little win streak there.
They are. They've caught up. They've caught up after being dropped all the way down to 11th. They've caught up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in a little minute here. Join us right after this. I'm Craig Hearn. Today, I'm here with the football doc, Dr. Zachary Atwood. He's going to show me some simple exercises and stretches to do before my soccer games. Because to be honest, I'm getting a little older and I need to be better prepared for these games. All right, he's got some stuff he's going to show us. Let's jump in.
What's up, guys? Dr. Zach here with Craig. We're going through a dynamic warm-up here. Super important, especially in this age group as we get older. A lot of guys that I see, they go right from their car and straight to the field without any warm-up. We want to make sure that we're getting the body warm, we're getting loose, we get the heart rate up so that we can help reduce injury. All right, guys, so I've got Craig currently doing some grass sweeps. He's doing a Frankenstein stretch, and he's also going through some pogos right now. Whoa, Craig, what the hell?
Yep, sorry, Doc. All this newfangled dynamic warm-up, this and that. What was wrong with my old warm-up? Oh, yeah, the doc was right. Definitely need the new warm-up. Oh, good Lord. All right, please visit the football doc if you've hurt your hamstring like me and you need a new warm-up. Yes, it is tough to break out of old warm-up habits. Drinking beer during your warm-up, not advisable, although I still do enjoy it. All right, we're going to jump into that Man United game. Listen, Man United this weekend 1-1 with Burnley. I'm going to say it right now. I thought Man United actually played well. Garnacho should have probably had 2 goals. I think at times it made Burnley look really good. Onana, for me, up until the penalty happened, was the player of the game. He made some absolutely phenomenal saves. His reaction saves this season have been by far the best goalkeeper reaction saves I've seen in a long time. He has his problems. The same thing he did for this penalty for Burnley, he should have been called on in that Wolves game way back when, in August. This time, VAR got it right. 100% a Stonewall penalty, in my opinion, this time and last time. But 1-1, this. Beside injury problems, which every club has had, this has been in my opinion, a horrific season for Man United. I think their players have shown they're not good enough. I think their manager's shown he's not up to the task. I got a lot of things I'd like to say, but before I really dive in, Danny, I'll let you have your say on this game and however you want to take this.
Yeah, it was a typical game for us really at the minute. You know, just poor performance. I thought the second half we were poor. I thought first half we looked good. I mean, the first 20, 25 minutes, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, we've obviously been working on some stuff because the movement off the ball was good, the energy was good. Bruno Fernandes was absolutely outstanding, just controlling the game for us. And we missed a bunch of chances. And I mean, you know, you convert your chances and you're probably going in at halftime 4-0, 5-0 in front.
Garnacho missed a hatful.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd be more worried if we weren't creating chances. We are creating chances. We're just not scoring goals. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are said, right? And I think the injuries, for one, is just. I mean, what he's had to contend with in terms of injuries, and I'm not talking about injuries to forward players because we've mostly had the front 3 and the midfield 2, 3 for most of the season without those injuries. But the injuries he's had to contend with at the back. I mean, when you're playing a holding central midfielder at centre back, you know, for the last 4 or 5 games because you've only got one fit centre back, that's a problem, you know. And you know, you've got Luke Shaw that's been out half the season. Malacia hasn't played since the beginning of last season, you know, and they're both left backs, you know.
Yep.
You've got Dalot playing on the left and Wan-Bissaka playing on the right, so you're already lopsided anyway, you know. So you're disjointed at the back. It's a cause for concern. And even when they did have fit centre backs, the defensive structure has been really poor this season. And I think an element of it goes to blame the manager, but I think a lot of it is down to the players. I think we've seen it before, and we've seen it through Van Gaal and Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, there's players in this team and players at this football club that just down tools when it gets difficult.
Yep.
And you know that there's the thing that I'm happy about is that the structure of the club is changing. with Radcliffe and what he's doing and implementing certain things. Obviously, Jason Wilcox has just come in recently as the technical director, trying to get Ashworth in as the head of the director of football.
Is that the guy from Southampton?
No, Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
The Southampton guy is Dougie Friedman, which would be the head of recruitment.
Yeah.
So
That's a good change.
Yeah, it's all great changes. I think that all points to, and I think we're all not naive enough to think that he's going to keep his job. Really, what should happen is that Ten Hag should keep his job.
Interesting. Okay.
In a moral, ethical sort of way, because he hasn't had a director of football. He hasn't had a head of recruitment. All the things that he enjoyed at Ajax, and let's not forget about it, right? A couple of seasons ago, when Ajax were in the Champions League semi-finals and winning the Eredivisie and the Cup over there, they played some of the most attractive football in world football at the time with young players. And last season, United played some really attractive football, got to 2 cup finals, and finished 3rd in the league. So the manager hasn't become a bad manager overnight when he's done it at Ajax and then he's come and done it in his very first season at Manchester United. However, I do think he's gone.
How come?
Because I think that there's a manager out there that I think prior to leaving the Premier League and prior to a new owner coming in to that Premier League club was flying. And I don't think he was given the time that he was the time that he should have got at Chelsea.
Interesting.
I think with Tuchel being on the market, I know that Radcliffe likes him. Everything that I read through Mark Goldbridge and a couple of my buddies back home, through Mike Keegan, who's heavily involved with Manchester United, friend of mine that works in the marketing department that I won't name, I think he's gone. This sort of trend is very, very similar to 2016 when we won the FA Cup with Van Gaal. And there was rumours about Mourinho coming in when they won the FA Cup that year. And it feels a lot like that too.
And you think he's coming back?
Mourinho?
Yeah.
No,
Or you
I think
Potter?
He said Tuchel.
No, I think Tuchel's coming. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Interesting.
Wait a minute. You think... Okay, so I'm going to back up here. You think that Erik ten Hag should stay, but you think the club are going to get rid of him, and then at the end of the season, when they get rid of him, they're going to bring Thomas Tuchel in to manage Man United.
I think that
Interesting.
I think he should stay. I think he should
Yeah.
be given the opportunity to work under a structure, just like he was at Ajax. I think he should be given that opportunity because a manager doesn't come in and finish 3rd and 2 cup finals with 1 trophy in his first year and then an FA Cup final in his second year. With all the injuries he had to contend with, he's still flirting with Europe, and we've had the most injuries in that season. So get the medical department right.
Yeah, that's not right. There's something that's definitely wrong because there's a lot of muscle injuries happening.
Get the medical department right. Get rid of the players that you don't want at the football club. Get the structure right, and give the manager a year. That's what I think should happen. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think Wilcox, Ashworth, Radcliffe, Friedman, I think they want somebody, not that they can control, but somebody that's going to come in and they're going to say, this is the way we want to play.
Yep.
You're the manager that we want. I want you to buy the players that fit the system, fit the playing style. And I think Tuchel's the guy that they want.
I am going to be really surprised if it's Thomas Tuchel who comes in there. I just would. That would blow my mind, actually.
I've just got a feeling because...
What about Zidane?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
I don't think he goes to the Premiership.
And there's a lot of if Nate was here right now, he'd probably be saying the same thing. There's a lot right now. There's a petition circulating in Germany. I don't know if you read that today.
Oh yeah, to keep Tuchel in the job.
The fans want Tuchel because the performances are outstanding.
And if it wasn't for Bayer Leverkusen on an
Maybe in
absolute
first, yeah.
46 game unbeaten tear, Bayern would be running away with the league.
They don't want Rangnick, and everything in my mind suggests that this decision for Tuchel to leave or to be asked to leave by Bayern Munich was a prelude to the fact that United already wanted him.
That's interesting. You think they were courting him?
I think it's been going on for a while.
Do you think it's
he's
Radcliffe? Who?
Yeah, I think it's been going on for a while.
Interesting.
Even before Christmas, when he just took over, I think he's been courting him for a while. And me personally, the way that the way that he took over Chelsea and they went and beat City in a Champions League final.
In the final, absolutely.
And they played some incredible football.
Yep. With Kai Havertz scoring.
Yeah. And then they had the Abramovich thing with the Russian, with Putin and all that sort of stuff that axed him out. And then Bowley came in, and Bowley
wanted his own people.
Bowley wanted his own people, sacked him, got Potter in, sacked Potter, and then, the merry-go-round from there. Mm-hmm. He was actually playing some really good football at Chelsea, and I actually respect him as a manager. I really do.
You know what we're going to do really, really quickly here before the night's out? We're going to take Danny's picture as this, and then off to the side, we're going to say, I'm predicting that Thomas Tuchel comes in and is the next Manchester United.
Should we put on the bet board who he thinks is going to come in and coach the team?
I don't even want to put it on the bet board. I'm just absolutely blown away by this prediction. I think it's great. I mean, I don't know if I see it happening, but I think...
I've just got a feel. Ten Hag said some things recently. And again, I watch United stuff every day, whether that's MUTV, whether that's interviews, whether that's Twitter stuff, all that sort of stuff. I'm very immersed in the club culture. Obviously, I've been a boyhood fan, right? So, and there's some things that he said that have set alarm bells off in my head of things that other managers have said in the past when they're on the way out.
Yep, he knows.
He knows he's going.
Yep, he's setting himself up for the next job, or just trying to make sure that he gets a good payout, essentially, by not. I get it. He knows what's going on. Yep.
So for me, I think you said you want him to stay and you think he deserves it. The part I'm gonna push back on is the players have to be happy, and I don't think the players are happy with him. So that's why I think he'll never stay. Like he'll be gone at the end of the year.
But that's the thing with Manchester United, and that goes back to Van Gaal and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and David Moyes and Jose Mourinho. The player power thing has to stop, and I think that's what Radcliffe is trying to get rid of.
Sure.
Like my dad was shocked. Not shocked. He agreed with me. My mum was shocked the other day because we were talking about it when I was in the car. I was driving up to Mason and I was talking to him about it, and we were talking about players in and out and all that sort of stuff. And I said, sell Rashford, please.
Yep.
My mum went, what?
Yep.
And it was just like, yeah, sell him. Like, to me, he's a whining complainer.
Pretty much.
You're playing for Manchester United. You're wearing the number 10 shirt that players like Wayne Rooney have worn, and Mark Hughes and Van Nistelrooy. I mean, you're in legendary status, and you're complaining.
Yep.
Because you're getting a little bit of abuse on Twitter. Well, newsflash for you, mate, right? You have a choice. As a professional footballer, whether you're on social media or not, right?
Yep.
You have a choice, like everybody else in the modern world.
Yep.
If I was getting shit on Twitter for being a high school coach, or I've got a choice to put up with that abuse, or stop watching it.
Yep.
Right? Or stop, completely get rid of it. Because my primary focus when I'm being paid $300,000 or £300,000 a week is playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, right or wrong.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the focus should be on football, but it's not. And that was a big knock on him last year. He's off doing things for starving children. Good for you, absolutely good for you. But you've got a job which you're being paid £300,000 to £350,000 a week to do. Focus on that, Danny. You nailed it. The players on the field don't seem to be playing for the man, and I would 100% sell him this summer. Cash in, because the PSG are letting, or not letting, but who's leaving there, and who has a lot of money, PSG. So who they're gonna want the next? They want to want the next player, and I think Rashford could be a good fit. We know that PSG have courted Rashford prior. I think it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Brooks, you were gonna say something.
So one thing for me is I don't think in soccer it's not the player power over who coaches or manages isn't as powerful to me as in other sports. Like I think in the NFL and basketball, I mean, listen, LeBron James can go to the front office and say, and to the LA Lakers front office, be like, I don't want this guy anymore, I want him. And they'll do it. I don't think it's that powerful, in my opinion, in European football. I still think the front office holds a lot of the power in the ownership, dude.
I'll let Danny go if you want to go first.
Yeah.
I
could be wrong, but
I think there's an element of the problem at Manchester United, and other clubs have experienced it, but we've experienced it a lot over the last couple of years, is leaks, dressing room leaks, right? And leaks that have gone out about things that are happening in the dressing room, which never happened under Sir Alex, ever. But we had a structure then. We had David Gill. We had a higher office. We had Sir Alex Ferguson. We had a good structure at the football club that didn't allow that type of stuff. It was unacceptable to do that type of thing.
I think when we're talking about player power, it's not one player. I think what we're seeing at Man United right now is several players who are not living up to the potential.
Yeah.
They've cost too much money. There seem to be a couple of players who are just whining and picking up a paycheck. And I've said it before, and people can knock me for this, but these people in these players in Man United jerseys, that is not Man United quality.
Correct. They could be outing Ten Hag. Just obviously everyone sees that like they're not good enough, but they could just be outing him because they're just upset.
The players that we've got coming through, right? And I watched.
I wouldn't say they're men of character. I would say they don't have any of that in my opinion.
The players that we've got coming through, there's a kid called Harry Mass and Ethan Wheatley that are coming through. They both play for the under-18s. They beat City. They've already won the under-18 Premier League Cup. They're absolutely fantastic players. I mean, really good players. To me, it needs a nurturing manager to come in with a new structure in place.
Yep.
To say, this is what we're going to do. The times of signing a Casemiro, a Varane, bringing a Ronaldo back, bringing a Pogba back, and Ibrahimovic, the marquee names and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But at the time in their career, when we brought them to Old Trafford, they were past it.
Yep.
Completely past it. We're picking up other people's scraps, and these players go, do you know where I want to go for a payday? I don't want to go to MLS. I'll go to Manchester United because they'll pay it. And that goes back to the $1.5 billion 1.2 billion that City have spent over the last 15 years and the 1.2 billion we've spent, and it's been completely different. They've spent well, we've spent poorly.
Yep.
So now you're in a cultural reset where you've got to get rid of that deadwood.
Yep. The problem with a cultural reset or reset of any kind is it takes time.
It does.
It just takes time. And you know what? This is going to be horrible to say for you or to hear for you, but maybe the best thing is not making it into Europe next year. Maybe it's not having those additional games. It's get everything set, get the year set, focus on the league, and then from there build it.
This was not many people know this, but and I'll bring this up, and maybe some of the guys in the chat, some of the Man United fans in the chat remember this. In 1995-96, Sir Alex Ferguson let go of Andrei Kanchelskis, Mark Hughes, Paul Ince, and several other Lee Sharp. And several other Manchester United players that had just won the title that year.
Senior players.
Players.
They're playing for the national team, right?
We're talking about Paul Ince that played alongside Roy Keane and Brian Robson, one of the best midfielders of that early Premier League generation. Andrei Kanchelskis, one of the best wingers of that Premier League generation. And he got rid of them all, and he brought through players, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Beckham, Nicky Butt, Giggsy, Paul Scholes.
Never heard of any of them.
Right? And there was a famous quote by Alan Hansen when they got absolutely destroyed. At Aston Villa, the very first game of the season, they got beat 3-1. Dwight York scored twice. Beckham scored the only goal for Manchester United. And they got beat that day, and somebody turned around and said, you'll never win anything with kids. They did the double that year. They won the league and the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Right? And this is we've got so many. Look at the players that have come through in the last 18 months. Garnacho, Mainu. We've bought Højlund, great player. Just needs support around him. Mm-hmm. You put Ethan Wheatley in that team and Harry Mass at left back, and now you're starting to go, you know what? This is academy quality.
You had Jack Harrison at one
Manchester
point.
United players, they are.
Yeah. Well, there's a big reset that needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast because the club is not quite where it needs to be, right? Yep. We got a lot to get to. Why don't we finish up real quick with the other scores, the other games that happened in the EPL. So obviously we talked about Tottenham 2, Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 2, as we talked about. Unfortunately, Villa dropped points there after being up 2-0. West Ham 2, Liverpool 2. We're going to talk real quick in a minute about what was said, what happened there. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1, Man United 1, Burnley 1, Newcastle 5, Sheffield United 1. By the way, Sheffield United relegated after that match. Due to that score and other scores. Wolves 2, Luton 1, Everton 1, Brentford 0. By the way, big win for Everton there. That is a huge win. I don't think they'll be deducted too many more points, so they're going to be okay. They're safe. They are now safe 119 years or something silly like that. They've been in the top level of English football. So there's
rumors they want Tim Weah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
it's already spilling, but it's just
we'll get out that. You're going to find
Yeah.
an Aston Villa and Everton whenever there's a player like a Tim Weah or someone like that out there. Those two are always mentioned. But Everton 1, Brentford 0. Bournemouth 3, Brighton Hove Albion 0. Brighton hitting the skids, man. They've just stopped their season in the tracks, and oh my word, downhill from there. We are going to talk about Mo Salah and Jurgen Klopp when we come back. We are going to be right back right after I find this little the video here. Let me see if we can find it here. There we go. Back in a minute.
Hi, Brooks. We're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just gonna do some light shopping. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
South America. Ooh. Wow, that's not MLS. Cool.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump.
Next to line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin. You know that.
Huh?
It's a
Oh.
mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Craig, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
All right, we're back. Let's chat about that that little incident on the sideline. We'll call it a little incident, handbags, whatever you want to call it there, between Jurgen Klopp and Mo Salah. Liverpool in their ugly away strip, visiting West Ham, drawing their 2-2. But in the middle of the game, Jurgen Klopp goes to sub Mo Salah into the game, has a little quiet word with him, and Mo Salah turns around and gives him an earful. We do not know exactly what was said. We know that after the game, things were said in the locker room. Listen, this happens at a football club all the time, but not very often does one of the star players turn around and give it right back to the manager, especially a high-ranking manager, world-class manager like Jurgen Klopp. It's not a good look, though. It's not a good look because Jurgen Klopp is out of there at the end of the season. They've named Arne Slot as the new manager coming in. Mo Salah, in my opinion, I said it before, it took a lot of flack, needs to leave Liverpool. I think Liverpool need to leave. Let him go, sell him for a bundle of money to Saudi Arabia. I think that's where it's going to end. I think that actually will happen. But boys, I mean, kind of interesting there, right? I mean, you don't see that happen with a star player and a coach like that anymore.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. I mean, he's gone. I mean, there was a point in the game where the cameras panned to Klopp and he was sat down. I think it's the first time I've seen Klopp sat down in a game
And not talking?
and not talking or not up on the sideline cheering on his players. I think he's checked out.
Klopp has, and Mo Salah probably.
Yeah, but because Liverpool are going to get Champions League next season.
Yeah.
There's no two way. They've probably already close to already securing it anyway. So Arne Slot's coming in with Champions League football under his belt, and I think Klopp's just already ready to be done.
And why not sell Mo Salah for 150 or 200 million to Saudi Arabia and have a nice big war chest for Arne Slot to go and spend?
Yeah, I mean, if he's pissed off, if Salah's pissed off for not starting, and he's upset and all that sort of stuff, I can understand that, right? I can understand it. You're like, when I played, I didn't want to sit on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play. And similarly, if I got brought off in a game, I'd be the same way. But you don't do that with the manager.
Do you know where you don't see that happening? Manchester City, who have egos of players, right? A Phil Foden, a Jack Grealish, a Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, they wait till after the game.
A Haaland, whoever it is. You don't see them turning around and talking to the manager.
Well, after the
Just
game.
Maybe
No.
after the game,
Yeah.
who have you seen? talk
Holland's
to the
done it a
manager?
few times to him.
I don't think he's really.
No, I think Pep's
it's-
got in his face.
It's Pep who's
Okay.
gotten in
Yeah,
their
Pep's
face.
got in his face.
He got in Holland's face earlier this season. Then he got in Jack Grealish's face.
Yeah.
But you don't see them talking back to him, right? You don't see players having to hold players back.
I mean, I've seen Grealish come off, toss his water bottle or toss his
yeah.
cleats, all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
you don't see him go at Pep.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's disrespectful, in my opinion, as well, right? Listen, you may not agree with the opinion, you may not agree with, but I'm sorry about your luck. That's the manager. Jurgen Klopp is still the manager of the club you play for,
Yeah.
and you are earning. What is he on? He's on something silly like 400,000, something like that. I
Something
think he
like
signed a brand new contract last year. But
it's frustrating because Liverpool have been outstanding this season up until a couple of weeks ago.
And why, Danny? What changed a couple of weeks ago that they?
I don't know, mate. To be honest with you, I think 2 visits to Old Trafford. They've probably
2 visits within the span of 10 days, was it, or
yeah,
something like that?
2 visits. One to get knocked out in the FA Cup 4-3 by Amad Diallo, and then the other one, to United to come back and tie 2-2 in a league game. That really stopped Liverpool in their tracks.
It did.
So
it really did.
They've picked up the Old Trafford voodoo, I think. But no, I mean, look, just I've had a lot of time to reflect actually, and obviously Klopp's done an absolutely tremendous job at Liverpool. They've probably been one of the most entertaining, pressing teams that I've ever seen played a game. They've played some wonderful football. Give City a right good run for their money over recent years. But has he underachieved? And I think the answer is yes.
It's hard to say someone underachieved when they brought Champions League and they've brought League, and FA.
I mean, you're going against the Man City and Pep. I mean, come on. I mean,
it's hard to say he's underachieved when he's brought a lot of trophies. Seven trophies
Should Liverpool have won more?
I think they should have won the league a couple more times. Yes,
Exactly.
I think they should have won it at least once
Is
more.
he underachieved? I don't think he's
what's the lowest he ever finished at Liverpool since he's been there?
third.
Never out of the top 5, right?
No, incorrect. Last year they finished 5th or 6th because they're only playing Europa this year.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I want to say 5th or 6th. Last year was a really bad year, if we remember. They were struggling. Liverpool fans were doing a lot of crying.
I mean, to
But they
stay.
did climb into that 5th or 6th spot towards the end of the season.
How long has he been there for? 10 plus years?
7 years.
Oh, not 7?
7 now, I believe.
This is
bad.
Klopp's MO. He was
Yeah.
7 years.
No, I know. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. This is his 8th year.
Yeah.
Last year was the 7-year itch, as they called it. Maybe he's
Yeah.
thinking of leaving, and then
And
the
he stuck
team-
on for another year.
He's
Maybe
8,
it was the wrong choice. I don't know because
I don't know.
he gets into about a 7-year cycle and then he's done.
It's
Yeah.
what he does. It's what he does.
I wouldn't say that's bad. 7 years and 5th or 6th being the lowest you finished, like, that's not terrible.
No, it's not bad. But has he underachieved, as Danny said? Possibly because they should have had probably another league title in there. I'd love to know what people online think. Let's see if anybody comments. Has Jurgen Klopp underachieved at Liverpool? Should he have won more? With all that being said, put your answers in there. We'll read them out. But they are bringing in Arne Slot, as we talked about. So listen, Arne Slot, here is his managerial record by team and tenure. He was at Cambuur. I have no idea what Cambuur is, by the way. Where that is. Played 34-121. That's a win percentage of 61%. That's not bad, actually. Then he went to AZ Alkmaar. He was there for 2 years. 58 matches played. 32 wins, 55% win percentage. Then he jumped ship to Feyenoord. He's been at Feyenoord for 147 games, won 97, lost 23, a win percentage of 64%. That is a really good win percentage, by the way. He is said to be a manager that is progressive. He likes to play good-looking football, attractive football, but he gets the job done. I mean, Liverpool went out of their way to sign this man, and they've paid some money for him as well. So it's going to be an interesting signing. I'd love to know the meetings that are happening now behind the scenes with the executives of Liverpool and him saying, the players you have, stay, sell. How much money are you going to give me to transform this team around? Because currently they're dropping off. Hey, probably a name none of us really knew about up until the last couple of weeks, right?
I didn't know him. No, I mean I heard about him. He's Dutch, So I mean,
He's another Dutch guy.
I think but it's just there's going to be a period of transition for sure because he's gonna sell players and players are going to leave because Klopp's left, and now you're looking at players like, okay, well, McAllister came in last year on his own. Darwin Núñez came in 2 years ago under Klopp. What does Salah do? What does Van Dijk do? There's definitely going to be turnover.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to be the whole team.
No, you can't turn over the whole team. But how is he going to be able to get the best out of older players like an Alisson or a Virgil van Dijk or an Andy Robertson who are aging?
It's helpful that Van Dijk is Dutch, so he probably knows him.
Does, but he's also aging. He's 32 now, 2 years off a bad knee injury. Yeah. Can he get the best out of a Darwin Núñez, who's 100 million pounds, and this year, one game he'll look like an absolute stud, and the next game looks like he's never kicked a soccer ball in his life. So that's really what you want your manager to come in and do, turn those players around, get the best out of the aging stars and get the best out of the players who have underperformed this year a little bit, right?
Sure.
So can he do that? Is he the man? There is a huge difference between coaching in the Eredivisie and coaching in the Premier League and coaching at Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world. People do say going to Anfield, it is tough to play there. He has to stand on the touchline and manage when things don't go his way.
Yes. Well, success isn't transitory.
He's going to react?
He's got a lot of things in his favor. Liverpool have got a good structure. They've got a head of recruitment. They've got a director of football. They've got they've got a good back room. But Pep Linders is going to go. Klopp's going. His backroom staff. They're going to have to be good. And are they as good as what he currently has, or what Liverpool's currently has?
Does he keep the throw-in coach?
The throw-in coach?
Yeah, don't they have that, or a corner or set piece coach? What don't they have?
Set piece coach.
Everybody has a set piece coach these days.
They do?
Set pieces, yeah.
Yes, like everybody has a
It's
set
like a
piece.
special teams coach in football?
Yes.
Yeah. I think
Throw-in
it's going.
They have one of those.
I think it's going to be
Berhalter
a
brought in
3-4 year
one.
transition. Me.
You think it's going to be what?
I think it's going to be a 3-4 year transition.
3 or 4 years of.
So you think they're not going to make European football the following year? Like after?
No, I don't.
See, I think they'll finish like 6th or 7th.
I think there'll be a drop.
Mm-hmm.
There always is.
There's always a drop.
Oh yeah,
There's always a drop when a
It's tough.
big time manager has had success. There's always a drop. City are going to go through the exact same thing when Pep decides to go.
Yeah.
There's going to be a drop.
Yeah.
when he goes to coach the Spanish national team at some point.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably. All right, so that's interesting. We're looking forward to seeing Arne slot in the Premiership. I think it's I think there's going to be a little drop as well.
Yeah. I just like
He's
his
gonna
name.
Turn the slot machine, as they call him.
Yeah,
That's probably weird to say, actually.
slot it to me.
Slot it.
Okay.
No, don't say that again, Brooks.
Sorry.
Don't say that again. All right, let's jump around. We got a bunch of other stuff to get to. As we talked about, Sheffield United relegated. Sheffield United, boys, just not good enough. Just not good enough this year from Sheffield United. I think we had Sheffield United all picked.
Brooks, look up this stat while Craig and I are talking about this. Right, what team has been? Has there been a team that's been relegated with conceding 100+ goals? Because right now they've conceded 97 goals this season.
I will say, oh God, that's a lot of goals.
97.
Villa were relegated as one of the worst teams in the Premier League. They had like 16 points at the
I
year.
mean, United are not too far behind them, but I mean, 97 goals.
Hold on, I want to put up the EPL table. You're right, 97 goals conceded.
I saw
Oh,
that.
my word.
I saw that
Oh, my
today.
word. I
Saw
mean,
that today.
the next closest one is 77, Luton Town. 97, a goal difference of -23. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers.
97. Any team? Has there been anybody that's conceded any more than 97 goals in the Premier League?
Okay, so only Swindon Town, 142 games in the 93-94 season, conceded more in an entire campaign than Sheffield United.
How many games?
Wait,
They played 100 goals in 42 games. they
Oh, so they're in the
conceded.
Championship.
Yeah.
Because they play 42 games in the Championship.
yeah, I was about to say, where's he going with that?
Yeah.
But in the championship, they
Yeah.
conceded how many? 100?
100 goals they conceded in 42 games.
And in 35 games,
Yeah.
Sheffield United
They've-
have given up
So
97.
they've got 3 games to go, so that's going to be over 100.
Oh, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
is.
that'll be history.
Oh, it will. Oh, on the wrong end of history there. Brooks,
No, they said Swindon Town is in the never mind. No, they said were they in the Premier League?
42.
Then?
You only
42
play
in the Premier
38.
League?
You only
No.
play 38 games
Oh,
in the
okay.
Premier League.
Okay.
It's the
But
championship.
who?
So Sheffield would be the only team in the Premier League. to do that.
Who are the remaining games on Sheffield United's schedule, if you could?
Look at that.
I mean, so they're relegated. They're gone. Chris Wilder's still there. They brought him back. I hope they give him the chance to try and bring him right back up.
I think he stays. You know, Sheffield United, they'll bounce back.
They
You
probably
know,
will.
They probably will. I mean, they'll bounce
Yo-yo.
back. They'll get a parachute payment, and
They're like the
they'll
new
bounce back.
yo-yo club, up and down, up
Yeah.
and down. Just now, Leicester City and them. Yeah, Brooks, go ahead.
So at home to Nottingham Forest,
Eh.
away to Everton,
Yeah.
and at home to Tottenham.
Oh Christ. It's good. Oh, Tottenham will do it. Tottenham will put 3 or 4 in for sure.
That doesn't mean Everton always good for a few sometimes.
Yeah,
What a
depends.
job Sean Dyche has done, by the way.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for the points deduction, they'd be up into like 13th.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that team, by the way, an
They'd be on Chelsea.
awful team, by the way, awful team. But what a job he's done. Yeah, I think is that the last game of the season? Sheffield United versus Tottenham.
Yes,
Where's that game at? You know?
it's
It's in Sheffield.
it's at Sheffield. Yeah.
That don't matter, does it? No,
No.
Well, Sheffield United, they've already been beaten. They've already been relegated, but they're not going to want to lose 5-0 and then do a lap of honor, are they?
No.
So they're going to put in a good effort.
Look,
Last Premiership
he's-
game, I'm grasping.
He's trying to convince
Yeah.
himself that Tottenham are going to,
Yeah.
get beat.
I am.
You know.
Well, even if they don't get beat, I am. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's jump around here. Derby County are back in the championship after being relegated in the last couple of years. They boys. Derby County almost made it to the Premiership a couple of years back. It was Villa who beat them 2019.
Frank Lampard.
Yeah, the Frank Lampard game, and after that he was gone.
So
but
I was reading today that they were so close to financial administration
Yeah.
over the last 12 months,
Yep.
and now they've made it back to the championship.
yeah,
Wow.
saves him.
Who's Paul Warney? That's who's coaching him right now.
Paul Warney.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Paul Warner, I know who that is.
Mm.
But it's good. Listen, Derby County are a pretty big club. It's good to see them back
Huge.
in the championship.
Huge club.
I think it's very good. Now, I'm waiting another week because Birmingham City, small little shitbag of a club, could be relegated down to League One. Bye, Birmingham City, you filthy bastards.
Wow, good stuff for
Um,
this guy. You like Rotherham United he coached at, and then he moves to Derby County. Interesting.
Yeah, hey, I mean, listen, you can really make a good living as a manager down at those lower levels and bringing.
Looks
teams
like
up.
all he was is a lower level player mostly his
Yep.
career.
So Derby County back in the championship. Good for them. Big club if you didn't know that. Leicester City are back in the Premiership. So Leicester City survived the championship. Congratulations. Do you know what they win, Brooks? Do you know what Leicester City win? They win 2 prizes. Every club gets 1 prize when you get promoted to the EPL. They get 2. Do you want to guess what those are?
Trophy and
A
money.
trophy and money, right?
Well, all right, let's say 3 then. You can have the trophy. No one gives a shit about the trophy. The money. You instantly get £100 million when you come to the Premiership. Congratulations. Here's £100 million. Number 2, because they broke rules last time they were in the Premiership, they get a
Oh.
points deduction.
Yeah, they do,
There's a
don't they?
points deduction coming for Leicester City. They're going to start the season out on negative points.
I was gonna say a
First
lifetime.
time ever.
I was
Maybe
gonna
the-
say a year free supply of Chipotle.
Maybe they'll be
that'd be nice.
maybe
Yeah.
they'll be starting on negative points, and City will be relegated to the championship.
Did you see that one
that's where we're going
Eredivisie
next.
team had negative points?
Yes.
But they won, so now they have 2 points.
They have 2 points. Yes, they got They got so they're gone.
Vitelli or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I know, strange. Before we get to it, PSG are League One champions.
Who gives a shit?
Did you not want to do an applause?
No.
No, I didn't want to.
Don't applaud the
Is
I
that
didn't
not-
want to.
Is that not like big news? Mbappe?
If like
Of-
Monaco or someone else won, I would have gave the applause.
Of course it's not. Do you know that's only their 12th League One championship though? I would have thought they had a
Jeez.
lot more.
Don't care.
But I know. That was a foregone conclusion. Everybody knew they were
Going
gonna
to
win.
France in a couple of months. Actually,
Are ya?
I might stop by the National Stadium and just whiz
Ah.
all over it.
The Parc de Paris, is
Yeah,
it?
the part de France. Yeah.
Tell everyone to wave white flags since they surrender all the time, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Paris, by the way. Been several times. Beautiful city.
I hear the country is better though, like Nice and whatnot.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The
Oh yeah,
countryside.
like wine
Yeah,
country.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, the Marseille and Nice and Lyon. Yeah.
They're friendlier to Americans
absolutely.
and other
Yeah,
people.
for
Yeah, they
sure.
hate the British, mate.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
absolutely hate the
Yeah.
British.
So what do you have to do? Do you have to walk around with the hood on?
No, I mean, unless I open my mouth, but I'm gonna,
You speak any French?
do I shite?
No. All right, you mentioned it, Danny. Here it is. Premier League CEO Richard Masters has come out this week and said the hearing into Manchester City's 115 charges will take place in the near future. When the hell is the near future? Is that like 5 seconds from now? Or is that like 500 days from now? Is that 5 years from now? When is the near future? Pretty effing subjective, if you ask me.
I'm going to say this. I'm telling you now, the reason why they're waiting is because they have to get this right.
Oh, absolutely
They have to get this right because they've booked points off Everton. They're going to do the same thing to Wolves. They're doing the same thing to Leicester City. They're already looking at Chelsea, right? So they have to get this right. And this is not 1 or 2 charges. This is 115 charges. You know what I mean? This is 115 penalties, by the way. You know, and if this goes anything like their Champions League penalties, then they're screwed.
So you know what's going to
This
happen?
could relegate them to the lowest divisions of the sport, by the way. Yes,
I actually think, and I'm being optimistic when I say this. I'm being optimistic when I say this. I don't think that they'll strip them of titles and stuff.
No, I don't think they will.
I think the only way that they can hit them hard is by relegating them.
Yes.
Because none of those professionals are going to want to stay and play in the 3rd division in League 2, and nor could they afford to pay them, so they would have to leave.
I would
You're
love
starting over as a club.
I would love to see like a powerhouse club like that that's been taken over by an oil nation, right? To say that like you've committed 115 charges, not for the first time,
Multiple times.
A couple of years ago, you almost got kicked out of Europe
Yes.
because you were doing the same things there, and you got overturned by court arbitration of sport. Premier League's different. It's not under UEFA rules. This is the Premier League rules. You've broken Premier League rules that sustain to financial. Basically, if you want to look at it, right, it's financial doping.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like drug doping.
Yeah.
It's financial doping, right? And this, players get banned for 8, 9, 12 months for doping, right? This is serious stuff. So if those charges or anything,
It's a big game changer if you're going to try it as a club that you know you're going to get hit with this, and you better not try it.
it's huge because what you've done is you've lied. You've
Yes.
lied to the Premier League.
You've lied that your books are actually this,
Yeah,
but they're
lied,
not.
You've lied to the Premier League to say that your commercial revenue
Yeah.
is
People go to jail for this in the United
Yeah,
States.
this
That's financial fraud.
It's fraud.
Yes.
It's absolutely fraud.
Yeah.
But what really bothers me is
Yeah.
we're going to look into this, and we're going to have what was the quote? Charges will take place in the near future.
Yeah. So
Put a freaking timetable on it.
So-
give me something. The near future is nothing.
it's gonna, and this is gonna. I mean, we went to Michigan State. This is like a Jim Harbaugh thing. I won a national championship, now I'm gonna leave, and then all the sanctions come down. So probably when Pep leaves, whenever he does, maybe it's next year, and then the charges go, and it's like, oh, goodbye.
Well, you're already starting to see it, right? Because Bernardo Silva just came out recently and said that he wants to end his career in Barcelona.
Yep.
Right? Big time player.
Yep.
Right. There's rumors about Haaland going. I want to go. Like I might
Real
wanna
Madrid.
go. I might want to go.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
When Kevin De Bruyne rumors came out recently about him going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I've seen that
So
as
they're
well.
starting like little inklings to come out, and Pep's contract is up. Not this summer, the following summer.
26.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, he signed an extension.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
think
up
it
for a
ends
year.
yeah.
But he can walk anytime.
Kevin's going to MLS. What are you talking about?
Huh?
Kevin De Bruyne's going to MLS.
Shut up, mate. So, yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what Pep does, to be honest with you, because he came out in a statement, didn't he, and said, if the club have told me they've done nothing wrong. If they have, I'm walking.
And listen, I 100% take this how you want it. I 100% believe Pep that he has no idea what's going on behind the scenes. That's nothing to do with him.
Yep.
Right? I really think he has nothing to do. And if he finds out that these charges are true and it was proven that the club did break rules, he will walk. He won't want anything to do with it.
I think he wants a timeline. He wants to know something, but
Well,
they're
I
not
think
going to tell him
I
anything.
think he absolutely does, but he also wants to make sure he gets through a season. And Danny, you're spot on with it. The Premiership have to get this right, because if they get it wrong, and they say, hey, we're going to deduct all these points, all these championships, and we're going to fine you, and we're going to relegate you to League 2.
What if they get down to the National League?
And then all of a sudden, there's an appeal and then it's overturned, the Premiership looked dumb.
Yeah.
Premiership
Yeah, they
looked
have to get it
bad.
right. They have to get it right, and I think that's because of the scope of it and the magnitude of the charges.
Yeah.
They have to get it right, and I think coming out and saying that statement in the near future, it means that they're close to filing the actual charge.
I mean, just give me something because it's not like we just found out about these 115 charges last month.
Nope.
Or even last year.
Right.
These have been going on for a couple of years now. It's like, come on. The funny thing is I hear a lot of pundits, I hear a lot of people talking about these charges. No one can really explain them properly because
Well, they're all financial jargon.
the documents and the amount of paperwork and everything, and now that everything's been tied up in court, everything, it's impossible to really know unless you're in it.
Well, you're trying to
working it.
follow the money at this point. Like, where did things go? What did they report? Was it reported as revenue? Was it not? Like, that's the tough part. Is you're following all this stuff in these emails and everything in these books.
Good luck, right? Because
And
if
by the way, like,
oil country money,
like, they've got a lot going on because the Premier League are about to vote on a thing tomorrow. A vote
About
on
the
a
financial stuff, right?
Yeah, they're about to vote on a financial thing tomorrow about introducing a salary cap that will basically change what clubs can spend
based on their income.
based on their income, based on their
Which they should do.
based on their broadcasting income. Which, as of right now, if it stands right, and it's not the broadcasting revenue of the top team, it's the broadcasting revenue of the bottom team. So as of right now, if this rule goes through tomorrow, is that clubs in the Premier League will be able to spend up to $450 million per summer on players. That's based off
That's
broadcasting.
so much less than what other they spend right now.
Right, but that's that.
Wait. Hold on. Each club will be able to spend that much? Wait,
up to that
up to
amount
each summer.
each summer.
And you said, Brooks, that is less than what they said.
I think don't most of them spend over $500 million? The top 3 or 4.
Chelsea maybe.
Yeah, it's not normal. Like Aston Villa spent last year in the summer, and again, they're not a top 4 team in the spending, but they'll spend.
I can't believe they can only
$70 million. Manchester City last year spent probably 110 million. Chelsea spent way much more.
but it's a salary cap though, so your guys have to be. Are they capped at 450 million? 450
I
million?
don't know.
Hold on a sec.
Because that's how caps work.
It's something we're going to need to dive into a little
I've
bit.
got it right
Yeah.
here.
Man United spent, I think, 140, was it? So 60, 65 on Hoyland, 50 and 50, so 160.
So it's the Premier League keen to introduce a spending cap on the 2025-26 season onwards, limiting the amount of money a club can invest in their squad. More specifically, clubs would only be allowed to spend 5 times the commercial broadcast revenue of the lowest team in the division.
Okay.
For example, the report that since the 20th place Southampton, this was back in 2022, earned 103.6 million in 2022-2023. The cap that would then be 518 million.
Yeah, because that's 5 times that. Yep.
Yeah, so that's what teams would be able to spend 5 times from the lowest team's broadcasting revenue
Throughout the whole year.
the whole year.
Oh, that makes sense. The whole year.
518 million.
So that handcuffs them a little bit.
A little bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
A lot more to come from that. I think there's a lot to be worked out. We don't know a lot of the specifics, but it's going to be interesting. I think they're trying to flatten it out and make it a little bit the smaller clubs be able to spend more and the big clubs not to be able to spend as much. But we will see what happens there. What did I miss?
No, nothing. You're good. Keep going.
I do have some news on
Side
Brighton,
joke.
Yes.
some Brighton Hove Albion, by the way.
What are you going to tell them now?
You ready for this? You ready for this, Brooks?
What?
Brighton and Hove Albion, following this weekend's loss, the only goal Brighton were able to score in the month of April was an own goal scored for them by West Ham. They have been that poor this month. They haven't scored any actual goals themselves. The only goal that they had was scored by West Ham for them.
By the way, Brighton's form is so bad, right? So bad that Xavi was begged to stay at Barcelona.
He was.
Literally begged. I mean,
What does that have to do with anything?
Laporta got down on his hands and knees, basically, and
That doesn't happen very often.
yeah, and begged him to stay because Barcelona were going after De Zerbi.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah.
It was right when the rumors came out that De Zerbi was looking into it and Barca were thinking about bringing him in, and that's when all of a sudden Brighton's form went downhill.
Yeah.
Just went downhill, down the toilet. So every team does a goal of the month. This month's goal of the month for Brighton is actually scored by West Ham as an own goal. So pretty funny. Brian Leverkusen, 46 games unbeaten.
You mean never losing?
Bayer never losing.
Yeah,
You're getting close. The 4 games off breaking the world record.
that's crazy. Who is it set by?
Arsenal,
It's
Oh, the
incredible.
Invincibles.
49 and out.
It's
Wow.
incredible.
How many? They've got the Pokal. How many league games they got left? 2.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, I think they wouldn't break the record till next year.
No. It was. Oh, it's league games, right?
No,
Yeah, no. Arsenal's
this
was
is,
league games. 49 league games.
yeah. This is
all
all
comps,
this is all
right?
competitions. Yeah, for this one for sure.
So they've got they play Roma in Europa League. That's the first on May 2nd. That's the first leg, and then they play Eintracht Frankfurt away on the 5th.
Mhm.
Then they come back and play the second leg at home against Roma on the 9th.
Okay, so they could actually that right there would
Yeah.
be 3.
They play Bochum away on the 12th.
They'll be Bochum, so that would be 4. That would be
Yep.
50 right
They
there.
host Augsburg on the 18th.
Okay.
Yep, and then the Pokal final
Oh, they do have enough.
is the 25th.
Christ.
Well, they get enough to get to 50, but it's league games.
League games,
Arsenal's
yeah.
lo-
So they'll have to
Arsenal's
wait
like
till next
49.
year.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'd have to wait
Oh,
till
it's
next
a league
season.
games, yeah, yeah.
49 league
Mhm.
games.
I don't care what league you're playing in. I don't care what sport you're playing in. I don't care what you're doing. To win 46 in a row is absolutely incredible. What a job by Xavi Alonso in that Bayer never losing team.
I don't think they've come up with that one yet.
What's that?
Never losing.
Well, yeah. You think we were the first ones to come up with that?
No. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we have. Danny, you mentioned it earlier. Bernardo Silva could be on his way to Barcelona, or there's another team that's entered the fray here. PSG. Silva has a
Oh,
release
no.
clause of $60 million, which was inserted into the contract that was agreed with by him and Man City last year. But this could prove to be a stumbling block for Barcelona, who need to balance the books to ensure financial fair play compliance, as per usual. Every single summer with Barcelona now.
And they're not playing at New Camp because it's being redone next
Correct.
year, right? So where are they playing their matches?
Just down the street at some university or smaller club. It's terrible, by the way. It's awful. Are they still playing next year? I can't remember if they're coming back.
I know for part of it they need to play some games, not
maybe.
because the stadium won't be ready.
Yeah. Well, Bernardo Silva, a lot of players want to go play at Barcelona, by the way. They love Barcelona.
Shocking.
Even though they may not be able to get registered or get paid on time, people still want to go play for Barcelona.
Still a prestigious club.
Yeah.
And Xavi is
I feel like that team in
legendary.
Madrid I'd rather go to, but they have too many guys right now.
No, anybody'd still rather go to those
Madrid are putting together another Galacticos.
Oh, God.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they are going to be. I mean,
What a team.
with Bellingham and Mbappe and Vinny Jr. and Valverde, they're going to be a force for
If
the
you
next
think
10
about
years.
that team they currently have, I mean, once Courtois gets healthy and he's back between the sticks, you still got Rudiger, Valverde there, as you said, Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Vinny Jr. I mean, the young kid who scored,
Camavinga,
Camavinga, the young kid who just scored,
Rodrigo,
the young kid who just scored this weekend,
Hendricks.
19 years old.
Oh, the Brazilian?
No.
Hendricks is there as well, the kid that scored for Brazil against England at Wembley.
Yes.
Yes.
But they got a kid, 19-year-old, who
17-year-old?
just scored this weekend, and they said he's so good that he's been injured for most of the year.
Ardu.
Ardu, that's it. He's been injured, but now that he's healthy, he can have as many minutes as he wants. That was literally the quote. As many as it's the second coming of the Galacticos.
Galacticos Stupendicos.
Oh my God, they're phenomenal. And then you're bringing in Mbappe. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they'll walk it.
Yeah.
They will walk it because one of the reasons why.
Don't you wish when they has that team that they would just be put in the EPL and see how they do against everyone? Don't you wish that?
No.
No?
Do you know like?
That always intrigues
Do you
me.
know back in the day when Beckham and Zidane and Figo and Ronaldo, Fat Ronaldo and those
Oh,
guys,
the phenomenon we call him,
Yeah.
not a fat Ronaldo.
you know those when that Galacticos was there, right? That Galacticos team would have walked La Liga and European football if it hadn't been for the fact of Messi, Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta.
Yeah.
You know, those two teams during that time frame were absolutely incredible to watch.
I mean, when those two teams played in the El Clasico, you rearranged your day, you rearranged your week around those games, right? I mean, oh my God,
Yeah.
those teams. We'll never see. I don't think we'll ever really see the teams like that again because Real Madrid have put their team together here. Galactico's second coming, but I don't think Barcelona are going to be able to compete. I just don't think they're going to be good enough for another couple of years because of the financial situation they've put themselves in again.
Right.
They just keep putting them, and they're going to go after a Bernardo Silva, who I don't think will be able to get there. So who's going to nip in? PSG, because PSG is going to have a lot of money to spend, and they'll buy him. But Barcelona, they've ruined themselves.
I don't know if they'll ever get out of that.
They're gonna need a new owner, and they keep trying every year, trying something new. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, Harry Kane scored a brace this weekend and reached a new personal record: 42 goals in all competitions this season. 42 goals in 42 games for Bayern Munich as a player, and a total of 400 career goals for club and country. I think if we're being honest, this guy just tore the Bundesliga a new one. Brooks, you got a comment?
Yeah. So Katie with the Kick It with Katie podcast
Katie.
commented. So Barca is going to play at Estadi Olympic and Luis. So they're going to play. That's where they're playing, and the Camp Nou won't be finished until summer of 2026.
Okay, wow.
So they're playing at the women's stadium then.
Yes, is that the
Whole
women's
nother
stadium?
year.
Yeah.
And that's probably like a
Terrible
lot less.
atmosphere. It's a terrible atmosphere. You've seen all the games that they've played.
The women's team?
Where the men are playing, where
Yeah.
where Barca are playing right now, it's just not.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
the same. But I mean, Madrid had to do it when they did the Bernabeu. They actually played at the training complex.
Did they air that? Did they broadcast those games?
They had
Yeah,
to.
and the training complex was what 30,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it
but-
was some silly.
and it was crap. It was really crap. It really was. But the Bernabeu, is probably the best stadium in world football right now.
Oh my God! It's
I mean,
incredible.
well, they'll never.
Incredible.
What's the rival team for Barcelona? They never share that stadium. If they, whatever with their
Oh,
rival.
It's Espanyol.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't share stadiums.
No.
No. That would be like Aston Villa and
No.
Birmingham
That'd
City.
be like Liverpool and Everton sharing a
Not going to happen.
Or Atletico Madrid,
Or
Real
Man
Madrid.
United and Man City.
Yeah.
You're never sharing
Yeah.
anything. It's just not happening,
Yeah.
right? Not going to happen. But Harry Kane tore the Bundesliga a new one this year. Absolutely tore them up. Still not done. They've got work to do in the Champions League.
I actually think that
Do you think they can win it?
they can. It depends. It really depends on the first leg. It
Yeah.
depends on the first leg. It really does. And
Yeah, Real Madrid, right?
yeah, they play Madrid, and I
Yeah.
think that the first leg is in Germany, and the second one is in Spain, because Madrid are the higher seed.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Madrid are phenomenal in a second leg at the Bernabeu. They've got ghosts inside that stadium that pull the ball into the net.
As we just saw as they played Man City. Man City, again, I think were the best team out of the tie.
It's
They're
in
the best team
Germany,
the world.
right?
Yeah,
First
Bayern home first, and then on
What-
the 30th, and
What's
then
the date on that?
So April 30th, it's a Tuesday. They're home, and then they go to Madrid on
the
the
following
8th.
week.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I mean, PSG are going to walk the other one.
Yeah. Oh.
PSG will beat Madrid.
Yeah.
Beat
Okay.
Atletico, right?
Isn't it Dortmund?
Oh, that's,
Yeah, it's Dortmund.
Dortmund.
Sorry,
Dortmund.
yeah, Dortmund.
Yeah, Dortmund.
You never
And
know with
Dortmund, by
Dortmund.
the way, shit the
Imagine
bed.
that.
They're-
Imagine that.
Dortmund shit the
Dortmund and
bed.
Bayern.
A PSG Madrid final with Mbappe going to Madrid.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that would be interesting, right?
What if it
'Cause
was?
nobody
What if it
want-
was an all German final?
Nobody want it could be.
Nah.
Dortmund Munich final is tasty.
It is. It happened before,
With the way Dortmund just played this past weekend, they got beat like 4-1 by RB Leipzig.
but they tend to play really well in European competitions.
I've got a feeling they'll get shellacked by PSG.
Yep. I think Mbappe will run circles around half that team and put 3 in the back of the net.
Well, they finally, Luis Enrique and the PSG hierarchy have finally decided to let bygones be bygones and accept the fact that he's leaving, and they've starting him again and playing in big games, and he's tearing it up. Like, don't be so stupid, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you can win the European Cup, which you've never won.
And you've got one of the best players in the world.
Yeah,
Just-
you've got one of
just
the best.
play
Just
him.
play him
Just
and
play him.
just suck
I
it up.
prefer them not to win it, so oil money doesn't win. But that's
Well,
just.
I
me.
mean, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I would actually really like, besides the fact that it's Bayern Munich and a German team, would like to see Harry Kane lift that trophy, just as an English fan.
Nobody wants Germany to win anything.
I know.
And then
That's what I
go-
said. Besides the fact that it's Bayern Munich and Germany, but Harry Kane as
I'm
an
so
English-
glad Nate's not here to see that
I know.
or hear that.
I know.
I want Germany to win stuff.
Yeah, no one wants
Schnitzel.
Germany. No one
You
wants
schnitzel.
Germany to win anything. Germany can go F themselves. All right, let's jump to we do have a fun discussion of name that player coming up. I'm going to read out some clues to see if the boys can guess the player.
MLS?
Huh?
MLS?
Why would you assume MLS?
I don't know.
He did play in the MLS.
No. Oh, we're talking that next?
We're going to talk MLS in 1 minute here.
Okay.
But before that, we're going to talk MLS with Lionel Messi, the GOAT.
Oh,
The
jeez.
GOAT has done it again. The Argentine, the little wonder, the magician, the GOAT, has recorded 16 goal contributions in his first 7 matches in 2024. Are you fucking kidding me right now? The most by a player in the first 7 games of a season in MLS history, and 3 more than the previous record holders, all of who were Thierry Henry and Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela had 13 goal contributions in 2009 in 7 games. Thierry Henry had 13 goal contributions in 2012 in his first 7 games.
Can you just accept it, mate? Just please, just.
I'm not denying he's a super good player.
Hold on a sec.
Best player ever. You can't stop
Hold
him.
on a sec.
I'm not denying that.
I want you to bend over your microphone right now, and I want you to tell me and Craig that we are right.
About what?
That Messi is the greatest player ever.
I'm not denying that.
Hold on.
I'm not denying that.
The argument that we had last year was the MLS will figure out a way to stop him.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
We'll stop him
I want you
because-
to bend over that microphone
Yeah.
and tell us now that the
You can't-
MLS can't stop Messi.
Yeah.
That he's a freak of nature.
7 goals.
Give me
7
till
games.
July, and I'll let you know that.
Oh my god, he's already won the freaking Player of the Year right now after 7 games.
He may have just wanted. They may just want to hand. it
There's
to
no.
Messi.
This is put it this way. There's no way if all the young guys get hurt that all those old guys can do that for the rest of the season.
We're not even talking about the rest of the team. We're just talking about Messi.
Can Messi still win the Ballon d'Or even though he's playing in America?
Yes, he can.
Oh, he can. Yep. Yep.
Can you imagine if the MLS produces the very first Ballon d'Or winner of a full season?
That'd be nice. I don't know how much it would mean
There's-
to everyone, but it'd be nice.
There's no way he can beat like a Bellingham right now, right? There's just no way.
I mean, what if he scores like 50? What's the goal record for MLS in a season?
Hell if I know. Hell if I know that.
4.
Yeah, it's got to be set by like.
Dempsey or Donovan or Ibrahimovic.
I was gonna go with like a Vela or a maybe a Hani Mokhtar in the last couple of years.
I have to look at on there.
I'd love to know actually. I just don't. I mean, I think the rest of the world
So-
is gonna vote for Messi to win Ballon d'Or while he's in the MLS.
Carlos Vela in 2019 scored 34 goals, and prior to that, Joseph Martinez had scored 31 in 2018. Then the previous ones were 27 and 27.
How many goals is he at now?
Messi?
Yeah, 8 or 9 or something like that.
Look at that.
He's on a pace, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can do. You gonna give me a little credit for calling out Carlos Vela? Could be the one who's.
Yeah, I'll give you credit. Here. He's got 9 goals right now.
He's at 9. All right, after 7 games.
Yes.
I mean,
So it's possible he's on pace to do it.
He's on pace to kill that record. I don't
If
think
he
does.
put up 40 goals, that's impressive. I mean, sure.
I will absolutely piss myself laughing if he breaks the goal scoring record, wins the MLS Cup, and wins the Ballon d'Or in this year. You are going to do something for me and Craig in the studio in front of a live audience.
I didn't say that he can't do that.
I mean, listen. The argument was, could he? The MLS will stop him. Players will figure it out. They have not stopped him. The man is.
Hold on a
just
second. Hold on a
freaking
second. Oh shit!
Thanks.
The man is amazing.
Still a long season to go, Craig. Still a long season
There
to
is
go.
a long season.
If he does all that, okay, then I'll stop.
You know what? What we're gonna do, Brooks? We're gonna
What?
talk about MLS. We're gonna show the table right now. We're gonna talk a little MLS roundup, and
right.
then we're gonna play one of our favorite games of Name That Player.
All right.
Where I give out clues, and the guys try to guess the player that both of them actually have in common, and see if who gets it first. All right. Go ahead, Brooks. How has the MLS been rounding up? Besides Messi, who's running the roost, killing it, how's the rest of the league doing, my friend?
Yeah, no, it's been, again, a lot of parity, a lot of change with everything. FC Cincy's still sticking at the top of the Eastern Conference there, 3 points behind Inter Miami. The surprising teams, Red Bull and Toronto, sticking up on the top 5 there. Again, John Hurd's been doing a wonderful job of turning that team around. Getting a nice 2-1 victory over Orlando this past weekend. So credit to John Herdsman and just kind of figuring stuff out. And, he did well to start with the Canadian men's national team. The question is, can he continue that for numerous seasons and do that without opening his mouth and commenting on things?
I'm going to say it again. I think it's absolutely phenomenal that John Herman came from coaching the women's team for Canada and then coached the men's team of Canada and did such a good job at both levels. He has now earned himself a MLS job. They had to prize him away with millions of dollars. I think he wanted to stick with. He took the men's national, both the men's and the women's national team, to new levels that they never had been to before.
Yep.
That man is a phenomenal coach.
Yes.
And now he's turning around Toronto FC in such a short period of time.
And I think
phenomenal.
I think the great part of it too is Insigne and Bernarducci. They respect him.
They bought in.
It is hard to get 2 Italian national team superstars to respect someone that's probably not from a European manager, and that is something to be said.
I'll be really impressed if he can get them to eat Chinese food twice a week as well.
I'm sure you will.
I mean, if he's a really, really good coach, he could do that.
Yes.
All right, onwards with MLS.
Listen, Columbus hanging around the top 10 or the top 5. With a tough draw against Montreal, who's been on a very good spell as of late, with Laurent coming from Crew 2 to take over the Montreal. He's done a phenomenal job to keep them, into the just below the playoff line. NYCFC doing a good job after having a horrendous year last year. Philly Union finally losing to RSL 2-1, so there are no longer any undefeated teams in MLS. DC United hanging around above the playoff line. Atlanta doing a good job. Shocker ones. I think Caleb Porter, if things keep going south and things can't change, he may get fired in 1 year from New England. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're 9 games, 1 win, 7 losses.
Yeah, I mean, it's a negative 12 goal differential, and they don't look like anyone wants to play for him. And apparently some of the veterans that have been there don't like a lot of what he's done. So this is not a good thing. Nashville, at the bottom as well. Orlando, Chicago back in its old place, so it's been an interesting in the Eastern Conference, that's for sure. Switching over to the Western Conference, RSL at the top of the table. What a job. Pablo Mastroeni, I mean,
turn it around, man.
All his assistants left. He brought in a bunch of different ones. So, I mean, they've done a phenomenal job staying on top of the table, tied with the LA Galaxy in first place.
Who had an absolute piss-poor season last year.
Chris.
And now,
Correct.
10 games in, 5 wins.
Yeah. Ricky Puig doing very well, the
Yep.
former Barcelona Academy and player. So it's done a phenomenal job for the LA Galaxy. Vancouver sitting in third. Of all the Cascadia teams that we've talked about, still hanging up there in the top 5. Sartini's done a phenomenal job. Minnesota hanging up there in fourth place. The new coach from Man United, the former Man United assistant coach, doing a wonderful job to keep them above. And also to Cameron Knowles for the great start to the season. LAFC, Colorado, surprisingly, Mr. Dan Wolko probably a little happy right now that Colorado sits in 6th place.
Yep.
Austin FC bumped themselves up the table after starting below, so Josh Wolf is having a little good turnaround right now on a good skid. Houston doing well, St. Louis hanging there. San Jose, for some reason, cannot figure anything out, sitting at the bottom of the Western Conference. I don't know what it is. They don't like to spend a lot of money on players, and for some reason, when they spend the money, it seems to be the wrong players. Seattle, I think, will turn it around. And injuries in the beginning, and I think they'll be fine. Dallas sitting down there. Portland not looking good. SKC on a little bit of a stumble here, but I think Peter Vermees will have them fighting in playoff contention. So it's still early, but the surprises here for me, the two are RSL and LA Galaxy at the top of the Western Conference.
Absolutely. All right, long way to go in that MLS season. Lots and lots of soccer to be played. Lots and lots of time for Messi to break more records. Sorry, Brooks. That's just the way it is. All right, we're gonna play. We're gonna play a little fun game here, and then we're gonna finish up. I have a player I have picked. I'm going to read out some clues here. First, I'm going to possibly turn off my screen share so you guys cannot see that. All right, listen, boys. This is a player that both of you will have in common with a club or a league. So let me open it up to the all screens here. When you think of the player, shout it out. We'll see who gets it first. Okay. This player has 36 U.S. men's national team appearances. He's a former Manchester United player. Oh. He is a former Birmingham City player. He is a former West Ham player.
Jonathan Spector.
Dang it, you're good.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Jonathan Spector.
I knew it, and I
is
couldn't put my
your
name.
player. Former Orlando City player
Yeah.
from the great state of Illinois.
Chicago kid.
Yeah, let me see. I've got a picture of him somewhere down here.
Yep.
There it is. Jonathan Spector.
Yeah.
Chicago kid.
Brooks is always going to get the U.S. men's national team one.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought, well, he didn't really play a whole lot for Man United, to be honest with you.
No,
No, he didn't.
three appearances.
Yeah.
Three appearances.
Yeah.
But he was
And
spotted
when did he play there? Probably when Beckham and everyone else was there.
2006 or 7, something like that.
So there were a lot of good players back then. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
never going to play.
He was
over.
spotted at the Milk Cup, brought over by Man United to England, signed, went out on loan to Blackburn.
Yeah. So funny. There have actually been a lot of Americans spotted by Man United scouts. It's just they've never, in Arsenal, they just never worked their way up the system.
It's weird that they do that, then they loan them out and then never works out.
Yeah.
It's a strange,
How it
it's a
is.
strange thing. Yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah. One thing I didn't forget to mention earlier, boys, I wanted to play a fun game. Of the 115 charges that Man City are facing, I'd like to, at some point, take bets on pick a random number of how many they're actually going to be charged with, because it's not going to be 115, right? It's going to be like 8 or 42 or 70.
Should we put it on the bet board?
Yeah,
Whoever's
we'll put it
closest.
on the bet board.
Price is Right rules.
Or what we'll do is we'll spin a wheel, and whatever number it is what you land on, and whatever gets, when it comes up, because it's not going to be 115 there.
No, it's not.
They're going to be charged. They're charged with, but it's not going to be found guilty of 115. So, maybe just pick out a random number today. 63. I don't know. That's all I got. So I meant to do that earlier in the other.
59.
Ooh, I thought you would go higher actually.
Oh, 59. Well, you know what, let's go with 69.
There you go. All right, weird. That's a strange number.
All right.
Why would you pick that?
33.
There you go. All right. Before we finish up, I want to say a big thank you to our partners. A big thank you to some of the people who have continued to help We Are Soccer. Thank you, Soccer World, Rod and Wadsana. They've got 3 locations here in Metro Detroit: Brighton, Rochester, and Canton. SoccerWorld.net for all your soccer gear needs. If you need anything soccer related, they are your guys. Thank you to Aaron Bird and Next Level Training, the best trainers in the country. We're so lucky to have them here in Metro Detroit. My kids go to them. I am seeing a noticeable difference. Trust me. Hit up Aaron Bird at Next Level Training. Get to their summer camps. Their summer camps are fire, man. They're so good. They got so many good counselors coming and helping players, helping pro players from all levels of the game, helping train those kids at camps. Thank you to the Michigan Jags. Really appreciate everything you guys have done. A great club and organization for players, youth players of all skill level and experience. Thank you to Thomas McGee's. We're going to be down at Thomas McGee's soon. You need to get there for all the games. Champions League games? Yep. Get there for the Champions League games. Thomas McGee's, downtown Detroit in Eastern Market. Thank you to the football doc, Dr. Zach Atwood. As you can see, I've injured my hamstring. He's going to need to help me out in rehab there. Make sure you do your proper warm-ups, kids. You're going to need it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Very much appreciate it. For the boys here and myself in the studios, we'll see you in the coming weeks. Cheers.
Boosh.